recent headline in the Australian Financial Review newspaper summed up why most of the property price forecasts published in mainstream media are hopelessly inaccurate. The Financial Review headline declared that house price growth is going to slow as interest rates bite, following a survey of economists by the newspaper. The survey of 30 economists came up with a median predicted rise in house prices nationwide of just 2.5% this year, with 8 respondents actually forecasting a decline in property values in 2024. Now, the first area is that the Financial Review, which should know better, has sought expert property analysis from people who are not property specialists and certainly not experts on real estate matters. Now, the next mistake is the one that economists seem destined to make year after year: the belief that the biggest factor, indeed the only factor which determines house price outcomes, is interest rates. The error is compounded by the belief that interest rates, which did not bite in 2023, will suddenly turn around and bite in 2024, even though it's likely that there'll be no more increases by the Reserve Bank and that the next movement in the official rate is likely to be downwards. Now, the inability of economists to understand that their methodology is flawed and that they need to change is quite remarkable. And even more remarkable is the persistence with which newspapers like the Financial Review seek real estate forecasts from people whose track records in predicting house prices is so bad that it's embarrassing. So the Financial Review would have us believe that property prices will be subdued because interest rates, which failed to impact throughout last year, will mysteriously have some big impact in 2024. Now, Barrenjoey chief economist Joe Masters is tipping just 4.8% price growth nationally, but with Sydney house prices up just 3.8% and Melbourne just 3.2%. Oxford Economics senior economist Marie Kilroy is tipping a meagre 2.7% gain on prices in 2024, while Australian National University Associate Professor Ben Phillips expects a sluggish 2024 for property prices, tipping 4% nationally, but only 3% for Sydney, Melbourne and Canberra. But for truly misguided forecasting, there's nowhere better to go than AMP Chief Economist Shane Oliver. Now, Oliver, who has a long track record of inaccurate property forecasts, says he expects house prices to fall 3% to 5% this year, but with rate cuts providing relief in the second half of the year. In other words, it's all about interest rates again, even though the results of 2023 prove that it simply isn't. Now, Nicola Powell, who's the Chief of Research and Economics at property website Domain, and therefore more of a property specialist than those institutional boffins, is more bullish and tips property prices to increase 6 to 8% in 2024. And Ray White, Chief Economist here at Economists, also a property specialist, is optimistic and expects price rises this year could exceed the gains of 2023, which averaged 8%. Now, Economists says the main reason is that many of the drivers of price growth in 2023 continue to be in place, particularly low levels of housing supply. And in addition, she says it's increasingly looking like we will see a rate cut in the first half of 2024, and this will further fuel pricing. Now, the record shows that specialist real estate analysts are far more likely to get it right with their property price forecasts than economists working for the big banks and the other institutions. Full-time real estate analysts have some claim to being called experts, while economists do not, and the proof of that is in the results of their forecasting in recent years.